The cowardly humans. In a distant galaxy, far from the bustling centers of power, there was a small space station orbiting a quiet planet. This station was home to a group of humans who were seen as different from the rest of the galaxy's inhabitants. They lived in what many considered a dull and unremarkable place, far removed from the grand adventures and battles that characterized galactic life. These humans were known for their so-called cowardice. They were often laughed at by other species for their lack of bravery and ambition. To many, these humans seemed content with their simple lives, working routine jobs and avoiding any form of excitement or risk. They ran the station's systems, managed its supplies, and kept things running smoothly, but they never ventured beyond their small world. They were seen as weaklings who preferred to stay hidden and safe. The main characters of this story were a group of these very humans. There was Alex, the station's engineer, who was known for his meticulous and careful work. Then there was Jamie, the communications officer, who always preferred to stay behind the scenes rather than be in the spotlight. Finally, there was Sam, the security chief, whose job was to ensure that everything was safe, though he was more comfortable with his routine tasks than facing any real danger. One day, the peaceful routine of the space station was shattered. A large, menacing alien ship appeared on the station's sensors, its intentions unknown. This ship belonged to a powerful alien faction that had been wreaking havoc across the galaxy. Reports of their aggression had reached the space station, but the humans had hoped they would be left alone. As the alien ship drew closer, panic began to spread among the space station's inhabitants. The usual protocols for such threats were quickly discussed, but it was clear that the situation was dire. The alien faction was known for its ruthlessness and advanced technology, making the threat seem even more intimidating. While the other species in the galaxy began to mobilize their forces to fight back, the humans at the space station faced a different kind of challenge. They were seen as weak and incapable by those around them, and even the other species were skeptical that the humans could do anything of significance. Their past actions had done little to inspire confidence. Despite this, the human crew faced the threat head-on. Alex, Jamie, and Sam knew they had to act, even if they felt afraid. They were tired of being seen as cowards and wanted to prove that they could be brave when it mattered. They gathered in the control room, where Alex started to brainstorm ideas. Jamie worked on gathering as much information as possible about the alien ship, trying to understand its capabilities and weaknesses. She used the station's outdated equipment to tap into the alien ship's communications, trying to find any useful data. Although the equipment was old and not very powerful, Jamie's ingenuity allowed her to gather crucial intelligence. Sam, on the other hand, was tasked with preparing for any potential confrontation. He started organizing the station's defenses and training his team on emergency procedures. Although he had always preferred to stay in the background, he knew this was a moment where he needed to step up. The crew realized they had to act quickly. The alien ship was getting closer, and the threat of an attack was imminent. They decided to come up with a plan that leveraged their unique skills, even though it was unconventional. They knew they couldn't fight the aliens with sheer force, but might be able to use their knowledge and ingenuity to outsmart them. In a meeting, Alex laid out the plan. The humans would use the space station's limited resources to create a series of decoys that would distract the alien ship. Jamie would use her communication skills to create false signals that would make the alien ship believe there were multiple targets. Sam would coordinate the efforts, making sure everything went smoothly and the decoys were deployed effectively. The plan was risky, and there were many things that could go wrong. The crew knew this was their chance to prove themselves. They were nervous but determined. They had always been seen as cowards, but now they had the opportunity to show that they could be brave when it counted. As the alien ship approached, the humans put their plan into action. The decoys were set up, and Jamie began sending out misleading signals. The alien ship's sensors picked up the false targets, and the crew watched as the alien ship diverted its attention away from the space station. The plan was working, and for the first time, the humans felt a glimmer of hope. They had managed to delay the alien ship's attack, buying themselves precious time. As they watched the alien ship move away from their station, they realized that their plan had actually worked. The situation was far from over, but this small victory was. Alex, Jamie, and Sam knew that their previous success in delaying the alien ship was only the beginning. The alien threat was still looming, and they had to prepare for what might come next. The humans had shown they could act under pressure, but now they needed to develop a more comprehensive strategy to protect themselves and their station. In the control room, Alex was deep in thought. He examined the data collected from the alien ship, trying to understand its weaknesses. The alien technology was advanced, but Alex's sharp mind found patterns in the data that hinted at possible vulnerabilities. He worked tirelessly, analyzing every piece of information to find a way to use the station's limited resources more effectively. Jamie, meanwhile, was working on enhancing the station's communication systems. The old equipment had been barely sufficient for routine tasks, but Jamie knew it needed to be upgraded to handle the new challenges. She used her skills to boost the station's signal strength and create stronger communication links. This would help in coordinating their efforts and ensuring they could relay crucial information quickly. Sam was focused on the security aspect of their preparations. He knew that the station's defenses were not strong enough to face a full-scale attack from the alien ship. So he began to organize drills and simulations to prepare his team for a possible confrontation. He also worked on fortifying the station's weak points and improving the overall safety measures. The crew had come together, each member contributing their skills to the cause. They were no longer just individuals doing their jobs. They had become a team with a common goal. The sense of camaraderie grew stronger as they worked side by side, facing the threat that loomed over them. One evening, as the crew gathered in the control room for a briefing, the atmosphere was tense but hopeful. Alex presented his findings, explaining the alien ship's possible vulnerabilities. He suggested a plan to exploit these weaknesses using the station's limited resources. The plan involved creating a series of traps that would interfere with the alien ship's navigation and communication systems. Jamie's upgrades to the communication systems would play a crucial role in this plan. She had managed to set up a network of sensors and transmitters that could relay false signals to the alien ship, creating confusion and diverting its attention away from the station. Sam's preparations were also essential. He had organized the crew into response teams, each responsible for different aspects of the defense plan. They practiced their roles in simulations, preparing for every possible scenario. The drills were intense, but they were necessary to ensure that everyone knew what to do if the alien ship attacked. As the days passed, the crew's confidence grew. They had prepared as much as they could, and their teamwork had strengthened their resolve. The station's defenses were not perfect, but they were now better equipped to handle a potential attack. The alien ship had been monitoring the station from a distance, and it was only a matter of time before it made its move. The humans knew that they had to act quickly when the time came. They had created their plan, and now they needed to be ready to execute it. When the alien ship finally approached the space station again, the tension was palpable. The crew took their positions, ready to put their plan into action. Alex, Jamie, and Sam were focused and determined, their previous fears replaced by a sense of purpose. The alien ship moved closer, and the crew initiated their plan. Jamie's enhanced communication system started sending out false signals, confusing the alien ship's sensors. Alex's traps were activated, creating interference that disrupted the alien ship's navigation and communication systems. The alien ship's response was immediate. It tried to adjust its systems to counter the interference, but the humans' plan had thrown it off balance. The confusion created by the false signals and traps bought the crew valuable time. Sam's teams worked seamlessly, managing the station's defenses and ensuring that the plan was executed as intended. The crew's preparation paid off as they successfully managed to fend off the initial assault. The alien ship, frustrated by the unexpected resistance, was forced to retreat temporarily. The successful defense was a major victory for the crew. They had managed to hold off the alien ship and protect their station, proving that their efforts and preparations were not in vain. The sense of accomplishment was immense, and the crew's morale was high. However, they knew that this was just a temporary respite. The alien ship would likely return, and the threat was far from over. The humans had taken a significant step, but they needed to stay vigilant and continue their preparations. In the aftermath of the attack, the crew took a moment to reflect on their achievements. They had faced their fears, stepped up to the challenge, and defended their home. Their bravery and resourcefulness had changed their own perceptions and those of others. They had shown that even those seen as weak and cowardly could rise to the occasion and make a difference. As they looked out at the stars, the crew knew that their journey was far from over. They had proven their worth and gained the respect of others, but they had to remain prepared for whatever came next. The galaxy might still see them as outsiders, but the humans of the space station had begun to redefine their own story. The experience had changed them, and they were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. They had stepped up, and their courage had set a new course for their future. Doubts and fears. The space station was quieter now, but the tension was thick in the air. The crew had successfully defended against the alien ship's first attack, but the threat was far from over. The aliens were still out there, and the humans knew they would likely return with renewed strength. In the control room, Alex, Jamie, and Sam gathered for a meeting. The previous victory had lifted their spirits, but now they faced a new challenge: self-doubt. The victory had been hard-won, and the crew couldn't shake the feeling that it might have been a fluke. Alex sat at his workstation, staring at the data on his screen. The alien ship had retreated, but it was only a temporary setback. The data showed that the aliens were regrouping and preparing for another attack. Alex felt a heavy weight on his shoulders. He had been instrumental in the defense plan, but now he wondered if they could maintain their success. What if their next plan failed? Jamie, who had worked tirelessly to enhance the station's communication systems, was also feeling the strain. She had been exhausted from the effort, and the pressure was taking its toll. The communication systems were better than before, but Jamie worried if they would be enough to handle a more advanced alien attack. She had spent countless hours making sure the upgrades were perfect, but doubts lingered. What if the equipment failed when they needed it most? Sam, the security chief, was deeply troubled by his own fears. He had spent days organizing drills and preparing his team, but now he questioned whether they were truly ready. The drills had been intense, but he couldn't help but worry that his team might falter in a real confrontation. What if they couldn't hold their ground? What if their defenses weren't strong enough? The crew's self-doubt began to affect their morale. They had shown bravery and resourcefulness, but now they faced the possibility that it might not be enough. The alien threat was a powerful and relentless force, and the crew was starting to feel the weight of their responsibility. During a break, the crew gathered in the station's small dining area. The atmosphere was subdued, and the usual chatter was replaced by an uneasy silence. Alex, Jamie, and Sam sat together, their minds racing with worries. Alex broke the silence. "We did well last time, but what if it wasn't enough? What if the aliens come back with something we're not prepared for?" Jamie nodded, her face tired and drawn. "I've worked hard on the communication systems, but what if there's a problem we didn't anticipate? What if the signals we're sending don't work?" Sam looked down at his hands. "I've organized the drills, but what if my team isn't ready? What if we freeze up when the real fight starts? We've only had a small taste of what the aliens can do." The conversation turned into a discussion of their fears and doubts. They were no longer just worried about the alien threat. They were concerned about their own abilities and whether they could live up to the expectations set by their recent success. As they spoke, a sense of vulnerability settled over them. They had taken on a huge challenge, and now they were questioning whether they were capable of handling it. The doubts were eating away at their confidence, and it was becoming harder to stay focused on their mission. In the following days, the crew continued their preparations, but the doubts lingered. Alex continued to analyze the alien data, trying to find additional weaknesses they could exploit. Jamie kept working on the communication systems, making small adjustments to improve their reliability. Sam carried on with the drills, pushing his team to be as prepared as possible. Despite their efforts, the doubts remained. They were haunted by the possibility that their hard work might not be enough. The alien ship had not yet returned, but the crew knew it was only a matter of time. The fear of failure was becoming overwhelming. One evening, as the crew sat together in the control room, Sam tried to offer some words of encouragement. "We've come a long way since the first attack. We've learned a lot and improved our defenses. We need to trust in our training and our plan. We're more capable than we think." Alex and Jamie listened, but their doubts were hard to shake. They wanted to believe in Sam's words, but the fear of the unknown made it difficult. They had faced one battle and won, but the future was uncertain. As the days turned into weeks, the crew's anxiety grew. The alien ship remained at a distance, but the threat was always present. The crew continued to prepare, but their fears were a constant companion. They knew they had to stay focused, but the weight of their doubts made it challenging. Despite their fears, the crew knew they had to push forward. They had proven they could act bravely in the face of danger, and they had to find a way to overcome their self-doubt. The alien threat was real, and they couldn't afford to let their fears hold them back. In the end, the crew had to find a way to believe in themselves and their abilities. They had faced the alien threat and survived, but the real test was still ahead. The doubts and fears were a part of their journey, but they had to rise above them to protect their home and prove their worth. The story of the cowardly humans was far from over. They had taken the first steps toward becoming heroes, but the path ahead was uncertain. The doubts and fears they faced were a reminder of their humanity, but they had the strength and determination to overcome them. As the crew continued their preparations, they knew they had to face their fears head-on. The alien ship might return at any moment, and they needed to be ready. The doubts and fears would remain, but they had the courage to push through and fight for their survival. In the midst of their uncertainty, the crew found a glimmer of hope. They had faced their fears and continued to fight. Their journey was far from over, but they had shown that even in the face of doubt, they could rise to the occasion and prove their strength. Sacrifices and wins, the tension on the space station was palpable. The crew had faced numerous challenges and their doubts, but they had been preparing tirelessly. Now the moment of truth was approaching. The alien ship, having regrouped and reinforced its forces, was closing in once again. This time, the threat was more significant, and the crew knew they needed to be ready. Alex, Jamie, and Sam had spent the last few days finalizing their plans. They knew the alien ship would be more prepared and aggressive. The humans had no choice but to adapt and execute their plan flawlessly. The crew's previous successes had given them hope, but they also knew that they would have to make sacrifices to protect their station. The plan involved a risky but necessary strategy. Alex had devised a new approach to disrupt the alien ship's advanced systems even further. Jamie had worked on enhancing the station's defenses, making sure they were as robust as possible. Sam had trained his team to be ready for any eventuality, even if it meant taking drastic measures. As the alien ship approached, the atmosphere on the station was a mix of nerves and determination. The crew knew that their previous tactics had bought them time, but this time they needed to act quickly and decisively. The alien ship was more powerful, and their previous defenses might not be enough. The crew gathered in the control room for one last briefing. Alex explained the updated plan. They would use a combination of advanced decoys, enhanced communication signals, and a surprise attack to disorient the alien ship. Jamie had improved the communication systems to create false readings and misleading data. Sam's team was ready to execute the defensive measures and take any necessary actions to protect the station. As the alien ship neared, the crew went into action. The decoys were deployed, creating multiple false signals to confuse the alien ship. Jamie's upgraded communication systems sent out a barrage of misleading information, making it difficult for the aliens to pinpoint the station's exact location. The alien ship responded aggressively, launching a series of attacks on the decoys. The crew watched anxiously as the alien ship's weapons fired at the targets. The decoys were taking the brunt of the attack, but they were doing their job. The alien ship was momentarily distracted, allowing the station to remain safe for a short while. However, the alien ship's response was swift. It quickly adjusted its targeting and began to focus on the space station. The crew knew that they couldn't rely solely on the decoys. They had to be ready for a direct confrontation. Sam's team sprang into action. They manned the station's defenses, operating the laser turrets and deploying countermeasures. The station's shields were activated, and the crew worked tirelessly to keep the alien ship's attacks at bay. As the battle intensified, the crew faced a harsh reality. The alien ship was powerful, and their defenses were being tested to the limit. The crew knew they had to make sacrifices to protect their home. They had to prioritize their resources and make tough decisions. Alex realized that the only way to gain a significant advantage was to risk the station's energy reserves. They had to use a powerful energy burst to disrupt the alien ship's systems and create an opening for a counterattack. It was a risky move, but it was the best chance they had. The crew agreed to the plan, understanding the potential consequences. The energy burst would deplete the station's reserves and leave them vulnerable, but it was their only hope to turn the tide of the battle. With heavy hearts, they prepared for the energy discharge. As the alien ship closed in for a final assault, Alex initiated the energy burst. The station's power reserves were drained, and the burst of energy shot out, creating a massive disruption in the alien ship's systems. The alien ship's weapons faltered, and its navigation systems were thrown into chaos. The disruption created a critical opening. Sam's team seized the opportunity and launched a counterattack. The station's remaining defenses were used strategically to target the alien ship's weakened points. The crew fought with everything they had, determined to protect their home. The battle raged on, and the crew's sacrifices were taking their toll. The station's energy levels were critically low, and the crew was exhausted. But their efforts were not in vain. The alien ship, unable to recover from the disruption, began to retreat. With a final burst of fire, the alien ship turned and fled, leaving the space station behind. The crew watched in relief as the alien ship disappeared into the distance. The immediate threat was over, but the cost of victory was apparent. The station was damaged, and its energy reserves were depleted. In the aftermath of the battle, the crew took stock of their losses and their wins. They had faced a formidable enemy and emerged victorious, but the cost had been high. The energy reserves were critically low, and the station needed repairs. The crew had made sacrifices, and they would need time to recover. Despite the challenges, the crew's spirits were high. They had proven their bravery and resourcefulness, and their sacrifices had made a difference. The station had survived, and they had defended their home against a powerful foe. As they worked to repair the damage and restore their energy reserves, the crew reflected on their journey. They had started as cowardly humans, but they had faced their fears and made sacrifices for the greater good. Their courage and determination had shown that even those who seemed weak could rise to the occasion and protect what mattered most. The story of the space station's crew was a testament to their resilience and bravery. They had faced doubts and fears, made tough decisions, and fought against overwhelming odds. Their sacrifices had been significant, but their victory was hard-earned and well-deserved. As they continued their recovery and prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead, the crew knew they had proven their worth. They had shown that they were more than just survivors. They were heroes in their own right. The sacrifices they had made were a testament to their strength and determination, and they were ready to face whatever the future held. The final battle. The space station was still reeling from the recent battle. With energy reserves critically low and many systems damaged, the crew faced an uncertain future. They had won a crucial victory, but the threat from the alien ship was far from over. The aliens were regrouping, and the crew knew that a final confrontation was inevitable. Alex, Jamie, and Sam met in the control room, their faces etched with exhaustion and determination. The alien ship had retreated, but the crew could see that it was preparing for a decisive strike. The ship was larger and more heavily armed than before. This would be their toughest challenge yet. "We need a new strategy," Alex said, his voice tired but resolute. "We can't rely on the same tactics. The aliens have adapted and they're coming back stronger." Jamie nodded, her hands still stained from the repairs she had been working on. "We need to use every resource we have. The station's defenses are almost rebuilt, but we're low on energy. We have to make every move count." Sam, who had been coordinating the security measures, added, "I've been reviewing our drills and training. We need to be prepared for a full-scale assault. The alien ship won't give us any more chances." The crew gathered around the planning table, reviewing the data on the alien ship's new capabilities. The alien ship was equipped with advanced weaponry and shielding, making it a formidable opponent. The crew had to come up with a plan that would exploit any weaknesses they could find. As the alien ship approached, the crew went into high gear. Alex and Jamie worked on finalizing the station's defenses, while Sam prepared his team for the upcoming battle. The crew was exhausted but focused. They knew that this was their last chance to protect their home. The alien ship came into view, its massive hull illuminated by the distant stars. It was a fearsome sight, and the crew knew that the battle ahead would be intense. The station's energy levels were critically low, and they had to be strategic with their remaining resources. The first wave of alien attacks began, and the crew sprang into action. The station's defenses, though strained, held firm against the initial assault. Jamie's upgrades to the communication systems provided crucial information, allowing the crew to coordinate their defense effectively. The alien ship's weapons fired relentlessly, but the station's shields managed to absorb much of the damage. Sam's team operated the laser turrets and deployed countermeasures with precision. The battle was fierce, and the crew fought with everything they had. Despite their efforts, the alien ship's firepower was overwhelming. The station's energy reserves were dwindling, and the crew knew they couldn't sustain the defense for long. Alex realized that they had to take a bold step to turn the tide of the battle. "We need to create a diversion," Alex said urgently. "If we can draw the alien ship's attention away from the station, we might have a chance to launch a decisive counterattack." Jamie and Sam agreed. They quickly implemented a plan to use the station's remaining energy to create a powerful energy burst. The burst would be designed to attract the alien ship's attention and temporarily disable its weapon systems. As the energy burst was prepared, the crew faced a critical moment. The alien ship's attacks were becoming more intense, and the station's shields were starting to fail. The crew knew that they had to act quickly. With the energy burst ready, Alex activated it. The burst of energy shot out into space, creating a bright flash that attracted the alien ship's attention. The alien ship's weapon systems faltered, and its navigation was disrupted. The diversion worked. The alien ship, momentarily confused and disoriented, focused its attacks on the energy burst. This gave the crew a brief window of opportunity to launch a counterattack. Sam's team took advantage of the situation. They targeted the alien ship's weakened points with everything they had. The remaining defenses were used strategically to strike at the alien ship's most vulnerable areas. The crew fought with renewed determination, driven by the hope of victory. The battle was fierce and chaotic. The alien ship, despite its advanced capabilities, struggled to recover from the disruption caused by the energy burst. The crew's counterattack was relentless, and they managed to inflict significant damage on the alien ship. As the battle raged on, the alien ship began to show signs of retreat. The crew's efforts had taken their toll, and the alien ship was no longer able to maintain its aggressive stance. The station's defenses, though severely damaged, had held up long enough to secure a critical advantage. With a final, decisive blow, the alien ship's remaining systems failed, and it began to withdraw. The crew watched in relief as the massive vessel turned and fled into the depths of space. The immediate threat was over, but the crew knew that the battle had taken a heavy toll. The space station was battered and damaged, but it had survived. The crew had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. Their sacrifices and bravery had made the difference. As the crew began the process of recovery and repair, they reflected on their journey. They had faced doubts, fears, and an intense battle, but they had shown their strength and resilience. The final battle had been their toughest challenge, but they had risen to the occasion. In the aftermath, the crew worked together to rebuild and restore their home. The alien threat had been repelled, but the experience had left its mark. The crew knew that they had faced the ultimate test and come out stronger for it. The story of the space station's crew was a testament to their courage and determination. They had faced the unknown, made sacrifices, and fought for their survival. Their victory was hard-earned, and their journey had shown that even in the darkest moments, hope and bravery could prevail. A new respect. The aftermath of the final battle was both a relief and a challenge. The space station, though battered, had survived the intense confrontation with the alien ship. The crew, exhausted and emotionally drained, began the difficult task of repairing their home. The once vibrant corridors were now silent, save for the hum of machinery and the occasional voice of someone working diligently. Alex, Jamie, and Sam were at the center of the recovery efforts. They had led the crew through the battle, and now they faced the daunting task of rebuilding. The energy reserves were critically low, and many systems were damaged. The crew knew that it would take time and effort to restore their station to its former state. As the days passed, the crew worked tirelessly. They repaired the damaged systems, replenished their energy reserves, and tended to the physical and emotional wounds of the crew. The space station was slowly returning to normal, but the scars of the battle were still visible. During this time, something remarkable began to happen. The crew, who had once been seen as cowardly, were gaining newfound respect from their peers and allies. The news of their victory spread throughout the galaxy, and many were amazed by the bravery and resilience of the space station's crew. The alien threat had been significant, and their defeat was seen as a major accomplishment. Other space stations, planets, and even some alien factions sent messages of congratulations and support. The crew's actions had demonstrated that even those who seemed unlikely heroes could rise to face the greatest challenges. The crew members began to notice the change in how they were perceived. Aliens who had once looked down on them now offered their respect. Fellow space station crews, who had once been skeptical of their abilities, now sought their advice and cooperation. The crew's victory had earned them a place of honor in the galaxy. Alex, Jamie, and Sam were invited to a special meeting with representatives from various galactic factions. It was a gesture of respect and recognition for their bravery. The representatives, who had initially underestimated the crew, now acknowledged their heroism and the significant role they had played in defending their home. The meeting was held in a grand chamber, filled with dignitaries and leaders from different factions. The atmosphere was one of solemn respect and admiration. As Alex, Jamie, and Sam entered the chamber, they were greeted with warm applause and cheers. The leader of the Galactic Council, an esteemed figure known for her wisdom and fairness, stepped forward to address the crew. "We are here to honor the bravery and determination of the crew of the space station. Your actions have inspired us all and shown that true heroism comes from within, regardless of appearances." Alex, Jamie, and Sam listened with a mixture of pride and humility. They had fought hard to protect their home, and it was gratifying to see their efforts recognized. The leader continued, "Your victory over the alien threat has changed our perception of what it means to be a hero. We have learned that courage can come from the most unexpected places." The crew was presented with medals of honor and certificates of recognition. The awards were symbolic of the respect they had earned and the appreciation of the galaxy. It was a moment of triumph and validation for the crew, who had faced tremendous challenges and emerged victorious. As the meeting concluded, the crew felt a deep sense of accomplishment. They had proven themselves in the face of adversity and earned the respect of those who had once doubted them. The victory had not only protected their home, but had also changed the way they were viewed by others. The space station's crew continued to receive messages of congratulations and support. Many sought to learn from their experience and apply the lessons of courage and resilience to their own challenges. The crew's story became an inspiration to others, showing that even in the darkest moments, hope and bravery could lead to triumph. With the respect of the galaxy now firmly established, the crew focused on the future. They continued their work to repair and improve the space station, ensuring that it would be better prepared for any future threats. The experience had strengthened their resolve and deepened their sense of camaraderie. As they moved forward, the crew knew that they had accomplished something extraordinary. They had faced a formidable enemy, made sacrifices, and demonstrated their strength and courage. Their victory had earned them not only respect, but also a sense of purpose and pride. The space station's crew had come a long way from being seen as cowardly. They had proven their worth and shown that true heroism comes from within. Their journey had been one of struggle and triumph, and their legacy would be remembered as a testament to the power of bravery and determination. The crew's newfound respect was not just about recognition, it was about the realization that even the most unexpected heroes could rise to meet the greatest challenges. They had shown that courage is not about appearances, but about the strength of character and the willingness to stand up and fight for what is right. As the space station continued to thrive and grow, the crew remained committed to their mission and their values. They had earned their place in the galaxy, and they were ready to face whatever the future held with the same bravery and determination that had brought them to this moment of respect and honor.